everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, April 18th, 2021. Nationwide manhunt. Cop on the premises. Adam chilling at the ranch. Having a glass of his favorite rare scotch. Daydreaming up himself a visit from the ex-wives club. Complete with matching uniform. Shocker of the week, scandal of the week. Can you even believe that Adam daydreamed Chelsea and Sharon wearing the same green V-neck sweater? Did you notice that? In Adam's daydream, we'll call it, Chelsea and Sharon were dressed exactly alike in the same green V-neck sweater. How dare he? That is downright disrespectful, if you ask me. It's disrespectful to Sharon, it's disrespectful to Chelsea, and it's disrespectful to the viewers. I'm outraged. Oh, just kidding. Actually, I thought that was a particularly clever little way to visually convey what Adam was working through in those daydream nightmare scenes, whatever you want to call it. He's not just thinking right now about his current legal predicament. He's thinking about what led him there, everything that's led him to where he is right now. Adam fears that he's caused what's happening to him right now, that his inattentiveness to Chelsea during her stroke recovery is what allowed her the opportunity to best him, to put him in this situation. And the cherry on top of it is that Adam is wondering if she only did what he wanted to do, which was get Ray out of the way. That was one of Chelsea's accusations. I only did what you wanted me to do, what you wished you could have done. Get Ray out of the way. Adam had to ask himself, is that true? Is that a possibility? Because it certainly was the effect, wasn't it? Ray is kind of out of the way now, isn't he? Maybe. I don't know. We shouldn't count Ray out yet. Sharon tells Ray early in the week, yeah, I lied to you about Adam. Okay. But now I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to gloss over it. I'm going to make it seem like it was way more innocent than it was. But to give you a little bit of an olive branch, I'm also going to tell you Adam's whereabouts. I'm going to tell you where he's hiding. He's out at that lake house he used to own. So Ray rushes out to the lake house, but Adam is gone. And Ray thinks that maybe Sharon gave Adam the heads up that Ray was coming. So it's kind of interesting that Ray had that seed of doubt at the same time that Adam told Sharon that he knew that Sharon was going to end up revealing his location. So it's like nobody trusts anybody in this situation, and probably rightfully so. I think Adam was very smart to keep moving. He definitely didn't want to be there when the current owners of the lake house showed up for a quiet weekend getaway, only to find a fugitive in their bedroom. I think finding the fugitive in the house, the honor of that this week went to Victor. It was Victor's surprise finding his fugitive son in his living room this week. I died. I died when Adam showed up in Victor's living room, or I'll call it the horse room. I also call it the horse room. But I died. I thought that was great. You all know that that is the love story that I care about, Victor and Adam. It's very clear that Victor is both Adam's second choice, but also his last resort. I think that's an interesting dynamic there. It was too bad, though, that Adam left that fancy scotch behind. He ended up giving Victoria that clue that he had been there. And boy, Victoria could not wait to tattletale. She wouldn't even tell Ray over the phone. Oh, no. She had to drag him all the way down to society to give him that hot tip on where Adam might be hiding. Oh, Victoria, wasn't there a crime hotline that you could have called? Maybe ring up McGruff the crime dog or something? I don't know. Call John Walsh? If you really wanted to be dramatic, have Adam hauled away on the next episode of America's Most Wanted. If Sharon got to be the amateur actress last week when she came to Chelsea trying to bait her, then I think that Chelsea gets the Academy Award this week for her acting with Ray. Ray comes by to question Chelsea twice, actually. And twice she knew just what to say to push his buttons. Oh, Adam and Sharon just want to be together. That's all they want. You and I are in the same boat, but I was a fool and you were right, Ray. Tears. I do think that Ray has heard what Sharon had to say, warning him about Chelsea, that she is the one who almost killed him. I think that Ray does have one eye open with Chelsea, but I also think that that one eye is very blinded by his hatred of Adam, his pursuit of Adam. Chelsea was right there validating everything that Ray has been thinking and feeling for months now. Chelsea touched all of the sore spots. So later, when the next time rolled around for Sharon and Ray to argue about Adam again, Ray snapped. He had it. He tells Sharon that he is done. Like, done. And there is nothing that she can do to change it. Because, simply, she can't love him the way he needs to be loved. Well, now, that's all he ever had to say, right then and there. She can't love him the way he needs to be loved. That's as legitimate of a reason to leave someone as any. You can't love me the way I want to be loved. Well, then done. Well, end of story. There's nothing left to be said. There's no need to struggle. There's no need to fight. There's no need to continue to work it all out in marriage counseling. Unless Sharon and Ray and Adam all go to sit down with the marriage counselor. Hey, there's an idea. Why don't they all three? No, hell, let's make it 4. Throw in Chelsea. Let's let Sharon, Ray, Adam, and Chelsea all go to counseling together to work it all out together. I am so glad that Victor is back on this show. he was missing for a while, and now Y&R has found a way to fold Victor into the story in a way that is not a major plot point, but it gives us a lot of bang for our buck. I'm really enjoying the Victor right now. Victor confronting Chelsea was a thing of beauty. He didn't even give her one iota of the benefit of the doubt. He's the only person who hasn't blinked an eye when Chelsea gives her big, watery eyes. Victor just paid no mind. Victor believed in Adam's innocence so strongly and so surely that he walked out on a pretty thin limb in the way he was talking to Chelsea. He was even saying to her, "Oh, you poor baby, boo-hoo." I mean, he was really goading her. I thought that was such a memorable Eric Braeden moment right there. But for Victor, you gotta admit that's kind of risky, because if there was even a shred of a possibility that Chelsea wasn't behind this, he would have been being pretty cruel to a stroke patient who's in recovery. But Victor just blazed right ahead. That's how much he believes in Adam. Victor just told Chelsea, "I'm not buying it. I don't trust you. I never trusted you. And you better look out, because I'm coming for you." Yes. Good. It was really good. And Victor's visit definitely was enough to unnerve Chloe. Chelsea may be taking it and absorbing it and feeling really good about her position right now, but Chloe is not. Chloe doesn't feel as confident. Chloe didn't ask to be drugged into any of this, and Chelsea has been completely insensitive to that. Never once has Chelsea apologized to Chloe at all. And Chloe had a pretty big wake-up call this week about it all. She finally told Chelsea, "You used our friendship. You used me. You dragged me into this. I would rather be with my husband and my kids right now. I'm out. You can go ahead on this on your own. You can figure out what to do on your own. You're so smart and brilliant with your plan. You figure out what to do on your own. See ya." Took her bags, left. I actually do feel bad for Chloe in all of this, because she was Chelsea's pawn, really. And I wonder if maybe being walked out on by the one person who Chelsea trusted will give Chelsea a jump start back into reality. Maybe help her pull back on the bad girl trance that she's been in for a while. Or maybe Connor, meeting with Connor, reconnecting with Connor will melt her cold little ice cube heart. I cannot believe that for all of this time, like since Chelsea had that surgery, Connor has never talked to his mother even once. He apparently thought that he was text messaging with her a couple of times. That is totally unbelievable. I mean, it was really nice to see Connor. I like the kid, but he literally said, "I was starting to worry about you." What? You were starting to worry about her? It's been months. She had brain surgery, and you never even talked to her afterwards until now. She is not okay. She wasn't okay then, and she is not okay now. Big news. Faith is recast and released from the hospital this week. To me, one of the most striking things about any recast is the way that other characters still act so completely natural, even though they're interacting with a completely different person. It always feels like a little bit of a betrayal. Like, how can you be calling her Faith and treating her like family? That's not Faith. But actually, it speaks a lot to their talent that they can give the exact same emotional delivery no matter who's standing in front of them. So, pretty good, pretty good. Hey, mea culpa, I have to say I was wrong about everything having to do with this Faith recast. First of all, I was wrong that Faith was going to be aged up. I assumed it was going to be an age up situation. I mean, the actress is noticeably older to me, but the character isn't noticeably older. No time has passed. It's been pretty seamless. And I can see, though, that we are headed in a much more mature direction, but definitely Y&R is going to be handling that a little more gradually. Well, right off the bat, week 1, I like New Faith. No doubt about it, I like this recast. I think it was a very good recast. This Faith kind of reminds me of Marcy Ryland, the original aged up Abby, the one who rode the horse into the athletic club, nude, the naked heiress, the original naked heiress. I think she went over to General Hospital too. I don't know if she's still there, but for some reason I see a little bit of a resemblance in personality or style or delivery there. I didn't feel an instant bond with the New Faith when she was in the hospital, but I think it was the scenes where Faith was standing up to Jordan where she really won me over. And on the one hand, I do think that it would have been nice to have seen Olivia get to have the emotional payoff of confronting Jordan, the person we've seen torturing her for all of these months. But yet at the same time, I think having that scene happen with the new actress was a great introduction for the new actress, letting the viewers really see what she's capable of. And yeah, I have to say, I was totally wrong. I never thought we'd see Jordan again. I thought she was gone forever already. Although, at the same time, her sudden turnaround does feel a little bit like a sweeping under the rug of everything that went on there. Jordan showing up out of the blue, begging Faith for forgiveness with a complete full realization that her little catfishing and humiliation scheme could have killed somebody. I didn't expect that from the little psycho Jordan, honestly. And I was pretty impressed. Faith could have turned around and walked Jordan right back through the front door, not even listen to her apology. But she let Jordan say what Jordan needed to say, and then she turned around and walked her out the door with Sharon secretly listening in the background, telling her daughter how proud she was of her decision making. Yeah, I think it would have been easy, as Sharon said, for Faith to forgive and try to make the friend back, but Faith understands now that that's not the kind of friend that she wants to have. That's the evolution of Faith's character, being able to say, hey, I don't just need any friend, I need the right friends. So I was wrong about Faith being aged up. I was wrong about Jordan. I was also wrong thinking that Faith's punishment wouldn't really be highlighted. I didn't expect us to actually get a sense of Faith going to court and paying for what she actually did, for the things that were her fault. I mean, I do think that Faith was getting a whole lot of hand-holding and reassurance and everything about going to court. It was all very like, are you okay? Are you okay? I think I might have like dragged her down there, but down to court, and I probably would have been a little more firm, but I know that Nick and Sharon are just happy she's alive. She went to court, she got her punishment, she got a fine, she has to do some community service. Now I really doubt we're gonna see that unless Y&R is going to build some kind of community service rec center type set like they did with, Victor building a rec center back in the day. My guess is that we're not going to see the community service thing, although that would be a good way for Faith and Moses to have some scenes together. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good punishment. I'm sure that having former District Attorney Christine Williams as her attorney probably didn't hurt when it came for the judge to make the decision on that. Well, I can't miss the opportunity to say how great Laura Lee Bell looked. She's never ages. She looked beautiful. Her scenes were too short. But I wonder why Y&R would spring to bring in Laura Lee Bell on kind of a minor court case for Faith. It was just a couple of short scenes. She didn't really need a high-power attorney like Christine for this. Although, I don't know, maybe Y&R was trying to connect it back into one of Christine's early storylines with the drunk driving and the switching of the seats with Philip Chancellor the third. I don't know if that was what the motivation was. It would have been nice to maybe bring that up if so. But I kept thinking, why bring Laura Lee Bell in for this and not bring Doug Davidson in, where he could have easily been worked in and useful to the Adam storyline and the manhunt and everything that's going on there? I don't know. Maybe if Adam had been wearing a cute little bandana, like a little bandit bandana, the way that Faith was at the coffee house, that would have made Adam seem more like a threat so that the chief of police could show up and step in. Imagine if Adam had that little pink bandana on that Faith was wearing, then maybe we could have got some Paul. I can't help thinking that COVID is what somehow brought the cowgirl bandana back. Because that's how I wore my face mask for the first year of COVID. And then I got one that pulled up and was a little more comfortable and that I didn't have to tie. But I saw Faith's little bandana and I was like, ooh, that seems like COVID fashion right there. I'll pay homage to it with my outfit for this week. Yes, I loved Bandit Faith. I was so impressed with her choosing to open up with Moses about the mistake that she had made. It's not easy to admit when you've done something that feels horrible and that endangered not only her life, but potentially other people's lives. But Faith opened up to Moses, and Faith is someone who just opened herself up to someone and got slaughtered. She tried opening up to Jordan, tried making friends, tried even this anonymous text message person, and it backfired on her completely and ruined her life. So it took guts for Faith to open up to someone new. And I was appreciative of Moses being so understanding, especially because his father was an alcoholic. I think it's kind of a cool idea that what Moses said about Neil visiting baby Moses on occasion and dragging him around to AA meetings. Are you kidding me? Like, hey son, haven't seen you in a while. We could go out and do something fun, but let's stop by a local AA meeting instead. You up for it? Hey, Walnut Grove. Genoa City's finest prep school. That's where all the future's finest go. Yes, I was impressed with Moses for stepping up to that little wuss. That little wuss who was bullying Faith because Jordan was his lab partner and now Jordan is suspended. He needed those notes. I mean, really? Isn't that guy, if you think about it, just another victim of Jordan's? I'm gonna take some pity on him. He needed his lab notes. Oh, Moses was good there. I liked his subtle delivery. He didn't get all big and bro about it. He didn't get up in the guy's face. He didn't come off as aggressive. He just outsmarted him. And I liked that. Is it me, or is there something about Moses that almost looks like a young Neil Winters? Are you guys getting that? I'm picturing baby-faced Neil Winters bumping into Drusilla in the halls of Jabot all those years ago, and I just can see a little bit of a resemblance even. Maybe I'm just looking for it. But I also think that New Faith really looks a lot like a younger Sharon, so this is working for me in a lot of different ways. I think having Moses around right now is such an incredible way to move Neil's legacy forward. Neil had 2 sons, Devon and Moses. That's right, Victor. Moses is Neil's son, not his grandson. I don't know if I think most people maybe didn't catch it, but Victor totally called Moses Neil Winters' grandson. It's true. I don't remember, I think it was Wednesday's US episode, but I backed it up and verified. It's true. Victor called Moses Neil Winters' grandson. Oops. It's kind of an easy mistake to make, though, if you think about it, because, I mean, Moses, I don't know. I mean, Victor and Neil were sort of contemporaries, I guess. I guess I could see him making the mistake. Faith is Victor's granddaughter, so I could see Eric Braeden thinking that, you know, and assuming that the contemporary of Faith, being Moses, would be the grandchild of his contemporary, Neil. I don't know. I don't know. It was a funny moment. I'm surprised no one went back and re-recorded it. They were like, no, we just better let that one go. They easily could have cut away and got that in editing, though. They could have clipped that and fixed it in editing. They could have done a little voiceover. He could have came back and done a little voiceover for that, but they didn't. Whatever. It's easy. It's an easy mistake to make. And I can't believe that Neil's been gone for 2 years. It just doesn't even seem like it. It feels like longer, and yet just yesterday at the same time. It would have been so interesting to see what Y&R would have come up with for Neil's character in the past 2 years since he's been gone. Or I don't know, maybe they would have sidelined him the way that they sidelined Doug Davidson. I'm not sure. But I like what we're getting now as a reminder of Neil, and a way to continue to keep him in our consciousness. I always found Neil's love of jazz to be a really intriguing part of his character, and somehow I feel like maybe that was a part of Christoph too. And I appreciated Devon sitting down with Moses. Just forget the baseball game, forget the guy talk. Let's instead talk about Neil. Let's share some of Neil's favorite music as a way to get to know him. I mean, Moses didn't really get to know his dad as a young man, and you know, as he continues to grow. So I loved Devon's suggestion that one of the best ways to get to know Neil now would be through listening to the music that moved him. Moses is such a breath of fresh air for the Winters family. He is so adorably curious about the love lives of his 2 older role models right now. Like, he tells Nate that he should try dating Elena. And then tells Devon that he has vibes with Amanda. And Moses has only been in town for 5 minutes. What? 5 minutes? And he's already got a love interest of his own. You're gonna fit right in here, kid. You're gonna be fine. Well, you know, I was all prepared to start complaining this week about how we're just on a merry-go-round with Amanda, Devon, Elena, and Nate, just swapping them around willy-nilly. But then we had another surprise post-COVID kiss between Amanda and Devon, and I said, I'm gonna shut my mouth now. Wow. Y&R is just delivering the kisses left and right. Everybody line up for a kiss. They must have got the green light from somewhere to start lip locking, and they went all in. They said, let's do it. We have a quota now, at least one kiss a week, all right? All right. Is there anybody else who wants a kiss? How about Phyllis and Nick? They haven't had a kiss in a while. Summer and Kyle had a love-making-y scene, and I don't think they got to kiss, so I'm not sure what the standard is for who gets the kisses and who don't, but I'd say we need to crank it up and shoot for 2 kisses a week. Why not? Aim for the stars. Okay. Kisses aside, I need some stability from these 4. I don't even know what or who anybody wants anymore. Nate and Elena were over and done 2 weeks ago. And then now they're having this coffee house kind of date, seeing if they could potentially reconcile their relationship. I was wondering if it would turn out similar to how when Elena and Devon were trying to reconcile their relationship and they ended up naked. I guess it wasn't the same kind of reconciling. It seems to me like Nate wants Elena, but he doesn't trust her, and Elena wants Devon, but thinks that Nate is a perfectly good second choice. I feel like Elena just is sad she missed her chance at a good guy, a guy who looks good on paper to her, but she just wants Devon for whatever reason. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know what anyone wants anymore, because now Amanda is back with Devon, just like old times a month ago, before he had sweet living room loving floor sex with Elena. I mean, he did apologize about all that. And he did assure her that he knows what he wants now. But I don't know. I wanted to see Amanda be strong and maybe even a little self-righteous. I wanted to see Amanda make Devon work for her forgiveness. She completely allowed him to breeze past the fact that he lied to her and made a fool of her while she folded up his sex blankets with Elena. And if she wants to forgive him, fine, but it just feels like she's doing it only so that she can have someone to support her while she takes on her own father's murder case. Amanda quits ChanceCom. Well, now that those burning looks between she and Billy are over, what was she sticking around for anyway? So yes, become Genoa City's newest criminal attorney. This town always needs one. It's like the hottest job in town, criminal defense. It's gotta be easy too. I mean, there's only one police officer, and the district attorney is too busy folding his pocket square to do any real work. Oh, I love Michael. He's my favorite, but he was looking good. I mean, I'm making fun of him and his pocket square, but he looked good in the scene with Victor. His wardrobe is always impeccably put together. He looks crisp. That silver hair is incredibly sexy. I want more Michael and Lauren. I mean, they need to be front and center on this show if I had anything to do with it. But I also will say, I laughed about Victor pressuring Michael to have Chelsea investigated. He's the district attorney. He's not involved in the investigation. You need to talk to Ray, Victor. Why didn't you talk to Ray instead of Michael? And I laughed when Victor he was talking to Michael and he called Ray, Ray or whatever his name is. Don't give me that, Victor. Don't act like you don't know who Ray is. He lives on your property. He's the stepfather to your granddaughter. You know his name. You should have talked to him and gotten ahead of all this. Paul Paul's the one who should have been in that scene, not Michael. I like Michael, but it should have been Paul. Paul would have been the one for Victor to go to talk to about that investigation. And it would have been such an easy work in to just pull Doug in for the day. Give him that scene with Victor. Boom. Done. But I get the feeling that maybe those days are done. It doesn't sound like things are very amicable between Doug and Y&R right now. Usually, when Doug Davidson doesn't get a script, he does kick up some dust on social media, and he starts making a stink about it, and then the fans rise up, and then Y&R brings him back. But I get the feeling that Doug is tired of fighting for his spot on Y&R at this point. I think he might be done. But anyway, that is a side note. Victor is going to have another criminal investigation on his hands to be concerned about as soon as the Adam one dies down, because this week Amanda questions Victor about this 30-year-old murder mystery. She doesn't get anywhere, of course, but I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. Victor played a stone face pretty well. He seemed like he didn't know anything about it. She's mentioning this reporter that's sniffing around about it. I don't know if we're going to see him. I feel fuzzy on where this is all going to lead, where we even are right now. But I mean, I'm more interested in the emotional journey of Amanda, getting to know her family. She got that box of documents delivered to her hotel room, and the very first folder she opens up has a picture of her father in it. The very first, presumably the very first picture that she has ever seen of him. And Michelle Morgan was so expressive with her tear-streamed face. I just could imagine the world of emotions that were going on behind those eyes and all of those tears. Like, she was seeing something of herself in him and having answers to all of these questions that she's had for her entire life. That Ashland Locke has some nerve. Trying to renegotiate the Cyaxares deal to get more money right as they were getting ready to sign the documents. And then when Victor told him that there would be no renegotiation, he actually called Billy and Victoria on the phone right in front of Victor, offering them a chance to bid it. This guy is something else. And then he has that double meeting with Billy and Victoria, tries to get them to badmouth each other, which is just childish and immature, trying to get them to like badmouth the other one in an effort to prove why they're the ones that should win. And when they didn't play his little reindeer game, he decides to leave the sale of the company up to a coin toss. Makes perfect sense to me. Now that's C-E-N-T-S. Perfect sense. Flip that coin right up. Whoever gets heads gets the business. All right, okay. All right. I appreciate the flair for the dramatics, as I said last week. I found the idea to be absolutely clever, absolutely riveting. I was all for that commercial break cliffhanger. Coin goes up, we go to commercial, we come back from commercial, and we find out in the lobby that Victoria is the one who won the coin toss. And, of course, she flew out to the ranch immediately to gloat to Victor that she had won. Victoria is walking a tightrope lately. She's almost daring Victor to make a move against her. And Victor has, for weeks now in a row, been issuing some pretty strong warnings toward her. I thought it was pretty freaking rude of Ray to reveal to Victor that Victoria was the source for his tip about Adam. I mean, that made Victor even more ticked off at Victoria. I don't think she was expecting Ray to do that, but at this point, Victor is now ticked at Victoria about pretty much everything. If she is going to fly in the face of his every decision, then what is stopping him from popping the princess out of that CEO chair and then popping Adam into it when the charges are dropped? Billy Abbott is a gambler, and now he is a gambler who has lost again. I mean, I'm sure he was all for the adrenaline of that coin going up in the air, but when he's on the losing end of it, it's pretty dashing. And that intense look that he was giving after telling Lily what had happened with Locke just made me wonder, what on earth is he going to do next? It doesn't look good. But on the flip side, the look that Lily gave when she realized that the Cyaxares deal wasn't happening, it was relief. It was complete relief. Lily thinks it's all over now. Like, oh good, that didn't pan out. We can just move on with our lives. But this is clearly not over. I just don't know how Billy's going to react. I know this idea seems kind of implausible when you think about the previews for next week that we saw regarding Ashland Locke, but I still keep wondering if Victoria is going to end up having an affair with him or something. It just seemed like there was a little seed being planted there between those two. And if Victoria does have the Cyaxares company, Ashland would have a seat on the board. They would be interacting a lot. And I just could see Victoria hooking up with Locke and it driving Billy crazy. Like maybe Billy is going to discover that Locke is a really bad man. And he doesn't want Victoria to be caught up with him, and he's trying to protect his kids. In some ways, I could just see that happening. Because, in fact, I'm sort of picking up on Sharon's brilliant theory from last week that Locke is the person who killed Amanda's father. Like, I'm wondering if maybe Billy will decide to cover Amanda's story and everything that's going on with Sutton for ChanceCom. Maybe that will lead him to some evidence that Locke was behind that murder. And then he passes that information over to Amanda, who wins the case, and he passes that information over to Victoria, who will totally dismiss it at first. That would just make Billy look like he was jealous of Locke and Victoria's relationship, and that would also cause his own new relationship to suffer in the process while Lily stands by. Or there's the possibility that Locke could just die. Based on those previews. In the previews, Tara is in Kyle's hotel room warning him about the fight that she just had with Locke. And then Ashland is with Victor at the ranch. He calls off the deal, finishes a drink, and then doubles back in pain. He was looking all sweaty, like he was having a heart attack or he had been poisoned. Maybe Victor poisoned the scotch. I don't know. But if Locke dies next week, that would figure, because I've been totally enjoying him. I'm holding out hope, though. I don't think so. I just don't think he's gonna die. There's been way too much groundwork laid for all the ways that Locke is going to menace Kyle and Jabot. Rumors have started that there are some unsafe working conditions at Jabot, and there's people talking about it in the media. Clearly, this is Locke's handiwork. I feel like he's only just begun. We were promised a menace, and I want a menace. I don't want him to just drop off and die. But if Locke does die, that would leave Tara as a single mother, needing someone to help her with Kyle's son, driving a wedge between Summer and Kyle right when they're happy, right when they're talking about getting married again. That would also make Kyle feel like he had to choose between his son and Summer, and that would be a big old mess. Oh, It could be foreshadowing Summer had that nightmare this week, and it was not just about Jabot discontinuing her favorite lipstick shade. Oh no! Summer had a legitimate subconscious moment of concern that Kyle was going to leave her for Tara. I mean, that's understandable. He's got to insta-family with Tara if he wants it. Summer might want to work on getting pregnant soon. She might just want to seal in that deal. But I think we're going to get the marriage first. Kyle does his best to reassure Summer. They started talking about the wedding, and I would really love that. I would really love a Kyle and Summer wedding. We can skip the bubbles. That would be a bad omen, since there were so many bubbles at Kyle and Lola's wedding, and that relationship did not work out. So, all right, skip the bubbles. Both of Kyle's marriages, he already has been married to Summer once, and he's been married to Lola. Neither of the marriages lasted longer than 6 months. Let's skip the bubbles if that's what it takes. I wouldn't mind seeing Summer and Kyle settle down. I think they have a good dynamic. They're a comfortable, sweet couple. But just let's use birdseed this time. Maybe birdseed is the magic ticket for marital happiness forever. Or longer than 6 months. Wow. I did not expect to be sad when Jack dumped Sally, but I am. I'm sad. Was this always meant to be a short stop on the love train, or was this a reaction to the viewer's response about the relationship, or is there still hope? I mean, is there anything that Sally could do to gain Jack's trust back? I don't know. Jack walked in on Sally having a tit-for-tat with Phyllis, but he only heard the part where Sally was threatening to destroy Phyllis in ways that Phyllis would never see coming. Didn't look very good on Sally, and then Phyllis just looked at Sally slyly like, and then slinked away and watched while Jack brought down the hammer to their relationship, their little budding relationship that I was starting to get used to. Bummer. Well, Sally goes to drown her sorrows at society, and she bumped into Gloria, and I swear, I heard Gloria's voice just a millisecond right before I saw her face, and I got giddy. Just a little bit of Gloria's voice is like, ooh, ooh, yay! Gosh, she's so good. That was so fun. And I expected it to be hostile between Gloria and Sally because it has been in the past, of course. But I was really pleasantly surprised to see them becoming allies a little bit. I liked it turning into Martini and Jack Abbott girl chat right there between them. A lot of people have talked about this, that maybe Gloria and Phyllis just see a little something of themselves in Sally. I think it's true. And for Gloria's part, it is true. I think they have some things in common, because when Sally was describing how she felt about Jack, I think it's easy to assume that Gloria was also thinking about Jack, but I think Gloria had to have been thinking about John. Everyone thought that Gloria just wanted John for his money. And yeah, that's part of what she wanted, I'm sure, but not all. I mean, Gloria was in love with John. John was an alluring man who was alluring to her in many ways, and she was constantly fighting against naysayers while doing anything and everything she could think of to keep him. It's a very similar situation, and I liked that Gloria gave Sally a little bit of a confidence boost, which made her go back to Jack. And she told Jack that she was going to do whatever she could do, anything and everything, to prove herself to him. But Jack was firm. I mean, he's got Phyllis in his ear right now, too, just reinforcing him, making sure he doesn't go back to Sally. And so when Sally tried to plead her case, tried to apologize, tried to make it right, Jack basically said, well, that's nice, but it changes nothing for me. I think we should go our separate ways. Ooh. Jack shuts Sally down, and then Phyllis kicks Sally out. Ooh, right out of the hotel. Right out. Just makes her pack her bags. She's no longer welcome here. Man. Phyllis is asking for it. Phyllis has been pumping Jack up, telling him that she was only looking out for him, and she's been taking so much pride in the fact that she was the one to break them up. Oh, she got to the bottom of this Sally Spectra. Oh, she did it. Ugh. But I don't know. I think you've won this round, Phyllis. There's no doubt about that. You managed to, well, she didn't really do anything to break Jack and Sally up. I will give her that. She didn't do anything. She did have a front row seat to it, and she was kind of a part of it. But I think she definitely is going to pay for kicking Sally out of the hotel. Sally's been she's been making a lot of veiled threats. We saw the scene with her texting Coco about how, Phyllis, it's all about Phyllis. And then we had another scene where she was saying out loud, oh, I'll make you pay, Phyllis. Phyllis, I'll get you. So it's like being foreshadowed. I'd say that we're going to get a retaliation. And it's kind of good, right? Because there's been all of this speculation about Sally and how bad is she? And is she bad? Is she good? She was bad on Bold and the Beautiful, but she's good on Y&R. I think that if Y&R has not yet showed us what Sally Spectra can do, I think they're about to. I think Phyllis is about to find out exactly what Sally Spectra can do. So who are you rooting for? I thought that would be a fun poll question for this week at the website. Everybody seems to have an opinion on it. Sally versus Phyllis. Whose side are you on? Are you rooting for Phyllis? Are you going old school red here? Or are you kind of liking the underdog story with New School Sally? YRChat.com is where you can cast your vote. Let's take the pulse of the chatters and see which redhead you think is going to come out on top. After all this time, Abby gets a text message labeled from Chance saying how much he loves her, how much he can't wait to start a family with her, can't wait to come home, blah, 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 blah. Why couldn't he have said any of that 2 months ago? If he had his phone or any phone all this time, why couldn't he have said any of that 2 months ago? Are we supposed to just swoon at that text message? He left his new wife in the middle of their baby making to run off and save the world. Save the world? This is not a Marvel movie. He's not saving the world. Don't insult my intelligence. Where are you going with this, Y&R? What is your plan, Y&R? It's just fun to be mad at this. That's my motivation. I have heard the rumors that Y&R is planning a recast of Chance. There apparently was a casting call for a character who sounds an awful lot like Chance Chancellor. But, come on! If they are recasting Chance now, that is total BS! First of all, we know they just wanted Justin Gaston. Why bother doing a casting call? Second of all, this just confirms that they let go of DB for personal reasons. So they better come up with a good resolution to it soon. Where is Chance? He's saving the world. Give me a break. Who is he? Supergirl? That's Lola's job title now. Hey, it was good to see Lola letting her hair down this week. Literally letting her hair down at Abby's baby bash. Lola has been stuck in her restaurant uniform and hair ponytail for way too long. But whatever, none of it matters because I could not keep my eyes off of Elena at Abby's baby bash. Elena had that finger wave hairstyle and that bright red lipstick. Everybody else just take a damn back seat. Elena was the star of that party. Sigh. I'm happy for Abby's happiness. I still think that Mariah seems like she feels awkward about the whole thing. I'm team Nina when Nina said, I have some concerns about how Mariah and Devon will actually feel when the baby is here. Yeah! Nina, I have some concerns too. Me too. But Ashley was like, well, they have a contract. That contract don't mean anything in this town. Thank you, though, for putting the two moms in a scene together. Nina and Ashley in the scenes together. That was fantastic. But yeah, all this happy party baby time, it's going to get real when and if Mariah gives birth. Last week I asked you guys if you think Mariah will have this baby or will she have a miscarriage? 62% of you still think she's having the baby. You think it is like full speed ahead on the baby. 38% of you think no, she will have the miscarriage. I think the majority here is probably right. I think there's a better chance that she's going to have the baby simply because Y&R has put a lot into this and there is drama to be had once the baby gets here. But that is still so far away. Mariah just found out that she's pregnant. That baby isn't even going to be here until Christmas. I love a good underdog story. Yeah, Lauren, so do I. That was our quote from last week. I love a good underdog story. That was Lauren's take on Sally Spectra, and apparently everyone guessed that it was Lauren who said it. So I have a big long list of winners. Congratulations, Sam, Henry, Sandra, Robbie, Daisy, Tina Cole, Susan, Heather K, Deetles, Michelle, Herman, Victoria, Yay, Marky, Sheila, TB84, Jamie, Cloris, and Diana. You guys got that one right. I wonder if you'll get this one. I can never tell if it's going to be easy or hard, but how about this? Buckle your seatbelt. It's gonna be a hell of a ride. Who said it? Buckle your seatbelt. It's gonna be a hell of a ride. If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. Okay, let's see what our Y&R chatters at large have to say, especially about this Mariah Abby baby situation. Samuel says, I don't feel like they'd go through with the baby storyline just to have Mariah miscarry. I think that's probably right. I think if they started down this path and worked so hard on it, a miscarriage would mean that they just decided to pull the plug. That there was something about this story that wasn't working and they felt strongly enough about it just to, we gotta get out of this. But I think you're probably right that it won't happen. Victoria says, I voted she's having the baby. If it's written well, this storyline could be rich to mine. Mariah could go through all kinds of conflicted feelings and share those with the viewer. We could be left wondering, will she or won't she give the baby up? We could also go through this with Devon. He's already slipped and said that he was the father. Y&R could even go into very soapy waters by having Tessa be very jealous and have Mariah break up with her. Tessa could then kidnap the baby to get Mariah back. I see lots of potential. However, it's been a while since Y&R has taken us on a glued to my TV bumpy ride. I think you're right, Victoria, too, that the thing is it's going to be 9 months of will Mariah give the baby up or not? Will Devon want the baby or not? I mean, that's a long time. I mean, the emotional payoff sounds good. I agree. There's definitely some deep digging we can do for Mariah and Devon. It's just 9 months of it? I don't know. But it's only going to be happy party for a little while longer. It can't be too much longer down the road before someone somewhere starts to have some reservations. And if they are tossing Chance back into the picture, what's that mean? Ellen says, I'm seeing reports that Justin Gaston is coming back as Chance. I'm not sure if CBS or Y&R has confirmed that or if the rumor mill is just on overdrive. But our friend DB surely won't be pleased if it's true, since he was told there wouldn't be a recast. It seems likely that the baby will survive either way, since they made Devon the sperm donor. The baby is a Newman Abbott Chancellor. That's a legacy baby. True. Yeah, true, Ellen, true. Yeah, a Newman Abbott Chancellor, they're probably not gonna pull. It would have to be some pretty extreme circumstance to get them to pull the plug on it. But yeah, I did look that up to see if anything's been confirmed about Justin Gaston or Chance. All I know is about that casting call. I think a lot of the rumor mill may have originated out of that, and it's simply a generic kind of casting call for a generic kind of character, but a lot of people were saying, ooh, that's Chance, and maybe it is, maybe it's not. I would imagine that if what they wanted all along was a different Chance, why weren't they just upfront about that? I mean, why didn't they just recast him right then and there? I mean, we know DB had his contract and everything. Maybe that was a part of it, but if they wanted to recast him, they could have just recasted him. They didn't have to do this weird mission to Mars thing with him. I don't know. Sharad says, let me clearly understand this. On the same day, apparently, that Mariah tells Tessa she's pregnant, even though it's someone else's. Tessa declares she's so in love with Mariah, Tessa decides to go on the road. If she's smart, she will stay on the road and go find Anna. Yeah, Tessa is just so noticeably absent where it matters. It's kind of like what they did with Michael and Lauren for a while. You know they're together, but you only see one at a time. You never see them together really, but it doesn't feel very true to the relationship or doing much of a justice to the relationship of Mariah and Tessa, that Tessa always seems missing at the important moments. It is hard to believe that Mariah just found out she's pregnant and then Tessa's off on another tour. It is a sad state of affairs for that relationship, and it is something that Y&R needs to work on. They need to either get in there and give Tessa more material, or they need to officially break up the couple. I don't know exactly why they're dragging it out. Maybe they just don't know what to do at this point. I'm not sure, but I know that's your favorite storyline, Sharad, and I'm sorry because I know it's not being handled very well. It really has never been handled all that well, but I know that those are the little things that make the show kind of unenjoyable for you, and I'm sorry you feel that way. Sharad also says, I know a lot of viewers enjoy Victor Newman, but I'm not one of them. Eric Braden seems to be a good guy. I enjoy and agree with a lot of the things he says on Twitter, but people like Victor Newman who believe that they can do whatever they want and everyone should just kowtow to them, I'm not a fan of. And he even proclaims that he's all about family, sure, until you challenge him. He is condescending and threatening, and maybe he does know something about the death of Richard Nealon, Amanda's father. Yeah, I would not like Victor Newman in reality. There's no two ways about it. Definitely the strength of the Victor Newman character for me lies in the performance of Eric Braeden and kind of what I remember Victor being from the past. But I can see why you wouldn't like him, no doubt. And I do think it's interesting to know how the story with Amanda and her father is going to connect back into Victor, if at all. Leslie says, I'm so curious about the man in the photo as Amanda's father. How do you get that part? Can they just take a photo of anybody and use it legally? Or do they have to get permission? I would think they would use somebody that is connected to the show or involved with the show, or maybe just a model. Could this man have faked his own death and still be alive? Yes, you're liking the photo of the man who Amanda believes or has seen as his father. You're talking about the actor, whoever the actual photo is of, you were liking. That's kind of funny. I don't know how you get that gig. I'm sure they have to, there's probably like a stock photo. That's it, right? Probably just a stock photo. But I think that it's an interesting question. Like, could this guy have faked his death and turn out to be alive? That's a possibility I hadn't even considered. What if there was no murder? What if Amanda's father is alive? Daisy says, Amanda was whining a lot this week. I wish she wouldn't turn to Devon all the time. He's not her therapist. I think Devon needs to go back to Elena. I just would like to have seen, I think Amanda needs a different friend. She had Phyllis as a friend. She maybe needs another, what about Lily? Somebody else. I just find it hard to believe that Amanda forgave Devon so very quickly. But it also just bugs me that it seems we're right back to these original couples. It just never stays the same for long. I want to know who loves each other, and I don't at this point. All I know is that Nate is hot, and Victoria says, in the middle of Elena's earnest conversation to Nate about their revelations of her feelings for him, I thought to myself, Nate is looking so fine. I loved his brown leather jacket and lilac zip sweater with his checked shirt. I'd sit across from him any day. I will miss winter in Genoa City because the leather jackets are so attractive. Nate is incredibly attractive. It's difficult for me to pay attention in his scenes sometimes. I honestly do sometimes find myself drifting. He is blessed. He is blessed. Oh, let's talk about Summer and Kyle, because Victoria also says Summer was so sweet today talking about getting married. You could see her delight and sense of humor. However, the dark cloud of Ashland Locke is brewing in New York. Summer and Kyle, enjoy your sweet moments while you can. Yeah, I'm happy that Summer is happy. I also thought it was an interesting scene. Summer kind of wanting to be mad at her mom about everything that happened with Sally and including her in this joyous announcement only because she felt she had to. And then the second Phyllis said, well, yeah, but I did break up Jack and Sally. You can thank me for that. Summer was like, okay, see you later. Okay, talk later, girl. Bye. Yeah, I like Summer Kyle. I'm all for it. I'm all for them getting married. Henry says, I also agree. Kyle and Summer will not get married, though. My theory is that Ashland Locke will have an untimely death, thus creating a need for Kyle to walk back into Tara's life, with Harrison needing a father, his biological father. Oh no, that does seem very likely, Henry. I'm bummed because I just really liked Ashland, but based on that preview, you may be right. Superplex says, doesn't big-time fat cat Ashland realize that if Victoria wins the coin toss, he's effectively handing over Cyaxares to Victor? So why did he even bother to negotiate with her? Yeah, T. Nicole says, exactly, if Victoria is the new owner of Cyaxares, what if Victor just removes Victoria as the CEO of Newman and makes Adam the new CEO? Victor and Adam have the company back. Ashlyn sold the company to Newman, not specifically to Victoria. Yeah, that is a little bit of a plot, whatever. I was kind of hoping that the deal would go through. Adam is going to need a job when all of this shakes out. It's possible Adam's new job will be Victoria's current job. Oh, about Billy. Gary says Billy is showing the early signs of becoming troublesome again. Now is the time for Lily to bail and seek more rewarding romantic horizons like Kane Ashby to sweep her off her feet. When will this happen? Never. Lily has truly burned out on him for good. Yeah, Lily does not need to find herself in another situation like Kane, where it was just, she was always so exhausted, running around behind Kane, trying to figure out what was a lie, what was the truth, and she's headed down a similar path with Billy here. I mean, she does not choose relaxing, low-key relationships. Billy definitely likes complicated men. She is willing to forgive, but that was also the old Lily. This definitely feels like a newer Lily. The post-prison Lily has some different priorities, I think. So I do wonder how long and how much Lily is going to be putting up with whatever it is that Billy has coming down the pike. Oh, Phyllis and Sally. Sandra says, wow, Phyllis got what she wanted. Someone new to fight with. Ellen says, so much for Sally's fresh start in Genoa Junction. She really did nothing wrong. Summer was paranoid and overreacted to Sally right from the start. Everything snowballed from there. Phyllis was obnoxious and targeted Sally for no reason. Now there's a Phyllis versus Sally war. I'd like to see Sally win, but Phyllis is the legacy character, so I doubt that will be the end result. Maybe the journey to get there will be entertaining, though, especially if Gloria is on Sally's side. Yes, please let that happen. I think even though Phyllis is the legacy character, it's not necessarily a slam dunk that she's going to be the one to win. I think this seems like a situation to me where everybody loses. Like, they're going to be going at each other left and right, and they're all going to lose. And you're right, that does have a lot of entertainment value. But please tell me Y&R is going to bring Gloria in on this in a real way, like not just for one episode or 2 episodes. Gloria would be a great third wheel here. Superplex says, the 3 women in Jack's life right now. I never thought I could write this, but Gloria needs to teach Phyllis a lesson. Yeah. I know. I could see Phyllis or Gloria being a little bit in the middle here, but actually choosing Team Sally. Victoria says, I feel a little sorry for Sally, but I'm glad Jack saw her true thoughts. Jack had a very unrealistic idea of what Sally's troubled past entailed. If Sally had turned over a new leaf, she would have been honest with Jack much sooner. I like seeing a strong Jack who knows what the future will hold. Yeah, I guess if Sally had turned over a new leaf, she would have been honest with Jack much sooner. That's a fair point. Yeah. I don't know why. I started out just really not liking them together, and now I'm very interested in it. And I think it really is just because it's fun. And I think that the Sally-Phyllis feud will also be fun. I think if you add Gloria in there, it's going to be triple fun. I'm all for it. Let's talk about New Faith. Diana says, I really like New Faith. She has a wholesome look and seems to be a very good actress who is perfect for the role. I know it wasn't planned to replace Faith, but the timing seems right. This is a fun age, as we could see Faith starting to date, meet her first love, meet new friends, and live the life of a teenager. Lots of potential for compelling and interesting storylines for this character. That's my thought too, Diana, that this was a good move by Y&R, a good recast by Y&R, and I think all signs point to, oh, we're going to go somewhere with her. I think they're going to bring her to the forefront and use her, and I'm looking forward to that. Diana also says, my prediction and wish for 2020 was a school setting for Faith or Connor with Christine as the teacher. I'll take the school setting. Last week I commented that I hoped Faith would stay a teenager so that we could see Faith at school with Moses as her protector from the bullies. And that is exactly what we got this week. The school setting is how I pictured it to be. A hallway with some lockers. Very simple. For sure we'll be seeing more interactions with Faith and Moses at school, and hopefully some new characters. As Allie mentioned before, having younger characters on the show will bring in younger viewers, which will be good for the show. Yes. Is that school set here to stay, do you think? Or were they just using it as kind of a one-off thing? I love the idea that we could get some new teens, especially for the summer. I haven't heard anything about anyone new being cast. I kind of like the idea of maybe, I like the school set, but the rec center idea could be good too. Faith could do some volunteering to pay her community service, and Moses could be volunteering there too. That's a way we could see them together. The school is going to be kind of cumbersome, though, if they don't bring on some other youths. There's only so much that can happen right there in that hallway, but I was still glad to see it. I thought Faith's little locker was cute and very realistic. Definitely looks like a prep school, because my high school looked a little more junky than that. Well, Gary, ever the Sharon and Ray booster, says, the tables have turned, and with Adam mercifully out of town for good, it will be Sharon racing after Ray to win back his love. If this greatest couple in the history of soaps were done for good, Ray wouldn't be sticking around the cottage mansion, supposedly to be there for Faith, as she regains back her emotional strength. Sharon will be able to wheedle Ray back to romance, and hopefully this great couple will live happily ever after with couples counseling. Yeah. You know, it sounds unlikely, but I will say this. It's a good point that Ray only said he was going to move out. Of course, we saw the previews where Ray's saying, I'm going now. But I just wonder, will the fact that Sharon was right about Adam's innocence change Ray's mind? And will something stop him from walking out the door? And as you said, maybe Sharon will be able to win him back. Because for right now, Sharon's saying, okay, I respect what you're wanting. But it is possible she will try to fight for Ray. I mean, at every point along this, Sharon has had an opportunity to choose Adam, to be with Adam, and she has chosen Ray. So she may continue to choose Ray. I don't know. T. Nicole says, I hope Ray is even a little suspicious of Chelsea. He did make a comment how she was recovering quite quickly. Chelsea even said to Ray that she is waiting for a new nurse, so everyone is assuming that she's fully capable of taking care of herself and is alone in the penthouse. Do they think Chelsea can move her arms and hands? If not, how would she call for a new nurse or call Connor's school? Yeah, the progress that Chelsea is making is incredibly fast. I feel like it was early in the week she said, look, I can move my hands. Look at this, what I can do. And now she's like up making her food, bathing herself. It was a pretty quick recovery. And you're right. Ray knows that. I mean, he's not a complete idiot. I'm sure he realizes that something could be off there. I don't think he's 100% blind to what Chelsea could be pulling here. It's just a matter of which wins out. Leslie says, does Ray know that Chelsea once attempted to murder Sharon, hitting her on the head and leaving her in a coma? That would have been a good point for Sharon to have brought up when she was arguing the case for Chelsea's guilt. Oh, why didn't Y&R think of that? Ray only knows the good girl Chelsea, and Sharon did mention that at one point. Like, you haven't seen the bad Chelsea. But it's true, Chelsea can be very bad, and it would have been maybe a good idea if Sharon had listed some of Chelsea's dirty laundry for Ray to know. That could have helped keep him a little more alert. Well, Diana says Adam needs to have Sharon visit Chelsea again and plant a little hidden camera in the apartment. Adam can then go to the apartment in disguise and not get arrested on his way there. But once in the apartment, Adam reveals himself to Chelsea and then goes over to the wheelchair and begins to tickle Chelsea. Hopefully she's ticklish. And voila! There's no way a ticklish person can sit still. Adam now has a camera on it, and game over for Chelsea. Yeah. And Celeste says, no, Adam needs to throw a mouse at her. I'm pretty sure she'll freak out and jump up out of that wheelchair. But first he needs to plant the camera to have proof. Well, I like the idea of planting a camera. That probably needed to happen a week or two ago. I also like Diana's idea that Adam could spookily show up in the apartment. That's what I want to see. I want to see Chelsea patting herself on the back, seeming real pleased with herself, and then we just see Adam come out of the shadows, like watching her the whole time, and then they have a good confrontation. That's got to be what's happening. I bet next week Adam will show up at that penthouse, and there'll be a really good scene where Adam and Chelsea come face to face. Superplex had maybe a little prediction here on what some of Chelsea's internal dialogue could be. Quote, Chloe knows too much. She must be taken care of. Oh, you think so, Superplex? Do you think that Chelsea would do something to Chloe to get her out of the way now that she knows all the secrets? Ooh. Daisy says, finally, Chloe left. I thought she was really losing her grip on what was important. She leaves her small children and husband in favor of the woman who put her freedom in jeopardy? It's crazy. After everything she's been through, now this. I hope Kevin and Esther talk some sense into Chloe and then she goes to Paul. Ray, more likely, since he kidnapped Paul and is holding him in a warehouse somewhere. In any event, I hope Chloe fesses up to her role in Chelsea's vendetta before Chelsea uses her as a backup plan and it makes Chloe look like the guilty one. Yeah, I know. Chloe could totally take the fall for all of this. I mean, Superplex saying, you know, maybe Chelsea will take care of Chloe. What if Chelsea sets up Chloe to make it look like she was totally the one behind it? Oh, man, that's bad news. Where is Kevin? Chloe needs to be confiding in Kevin. There's no way he would not be asking questions about what's going on here. Where's Greg Ricart? What's he up to? They need to bring him in to help Chloe out here. She's gotten herself into a mess. Well, let's end on this a funny notion from Sandra, who says, not for nothing, Adam's still using his cell phone. That's the first thing the cops do. They put a trace on your phone and see where it pings from when it's used. I thought the same thing, Sandra, about Chance. Both Chance and Adam are in hiding, so to speak, and yet their names come right up with the text messages that they send. I mean, okay. Creative license. I'm sure that Y&R probably feels the need to do that so that viewers can catch on, but come on. Having those text messages come up from an unknown number would be completely known to the audience, to anyone who's really watching. Like Sharon gets an unknown text saying, you're doing what you're doing, and so I'm doing what I'm doing. We know it's Adam. Abby gets a way too long text message from Chance declaring love and commitment to the family. We know it's Chance. You don't have to spell it out. And by the way, that text message from Chance was too long. It was too long. I was like, man, I'm lazy. Do I really have to read my Y&R? Okay, everybody. I think that's it for me. My voice is getting a little raspy, but I'm feeling so much better and enjoying the show, no doubt about it. I've had a lot to say. I've had a lot to think. Like, I've definitely each day been really engaged in Y&R. So the quality of the show, I definitely think is there. And even the things that bug me they don't really bug me. It's just fun to be bugged about them. Oh. Okay, well, tell me what's bugging you. Go to yrchat.com. Leave me your comments. Vote in that poll. Phyllis versus Sally. Who are you rooting for? And of course, come back next Sunday. We'll chat about everything then. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.